Thank you for the TGIF. I scheduled to take my exam tomorrow morning. I'm so nervous. No worries, Dana. I am going to help you out. I'm going to give you some great tips. So in cardiology, since I'm sitting here, one of the main things is make sure you know whether you are doing an artery or a vein. Most of cardiology is just simply divided into that. Look at your question just as a word search. Am I doing a procedure to an artery or am I doing it to a vein? Now, just because your route into the body is an artery or a vein, that don't mean nothing. But what is the procedure I am doing today? And am I in an artery or am I in a vein? And even the cabbages are separated out that way. You'll have all these venous cabbages, then you'll have the artery cabbages, and then in the middle, you'll have a combo that is artery and venous, both. And that's 75% of your issue. Just figure out if you're artery or venous. Digestive system, those hernias in the back. Last page. Figure or if you are laparoscopic or if you are open surgery. The 96s, the 496s are laparoscopic. The 495s are open procedure. Figure that out first. If you start out with a scope, and then you end up opening up the patient and finishing the procedure with an open procedure, then it's going to be a 95. Super easy. Urology. Where is urology for today? That's the one I'm working on with some cool questions. This is the wrong book for me. And can't do anything without a book updated. Yeah, we're not there. Digestion, I know male and female, and then urology is right before it. All right. The main thing here that will save your soul in urology is to label every page in urology. So, what are these pages taking care of right here? Meaning, what am I working on? What body part here? I'm doing a neph. See the neph? N-E-P-H? Neph means I'm working on what type of body part? I'm working on a kidney or aka renal. Next page is kidney also. This one's kidney also. We get to ureters when we have a header that says ureters. Where is that? That's all renal. That's all renal. Repair, laparoscopic, ureter. It's near the microscope one, right here. Right here. This half of the page is going to be kidney, because these codes right here are kidney still, kidney renal. And then this side of the page is ureters. So look and see what I am doing in that question. Am I working on the kidney? Am I working on a ureter? And then the next thing is going to be bladder. Bladder starts in a couple of pages around endoscopes. So we'll keep going until we see something called endoscopes right there. Endoscopy is at the 5-1 code. 510. 510. Yeah, 51070s. Yep, right around in here. We got the endoscopes at 50950. we're going to be bladder with these pages. And then the next pages we'll be doing bladder and urethra around the 5200 mark right here. This area is going to be urethra and the bladder. So first thing ever in urology, no matter what repair am I doing on what organ is all you need to know. If it's just bladder, then great, you know you're back here. If your urethra, you're working on it and the bladder at the same time, then you know you're back here. If you're only working on a kidney, then you're up in the front. That will help out so much during the exam. Really a whole bunch. Thank you for the holiday stockings. That's awesome. You are great. Thank you, Sunshine. Hey, Lady Love. Good to see you. Can you tell something about separate procedures? I absolutely can. So let's find an example. Let's see. Separate procedure. Let's see. Let me just try to find one on the fly. Here we go. Right here. So what they asked about was some of these codes have this thing in the parentheses that says separate procedure. And I can't help it. If I got out a yellow highlighter, I'm going to highlight everything I see in a parentheses. So what this means is usually it's the very first code in a sequence of something. So this whole section of excisions means removal. We're excising something. It goes over here to this one. And then that separate procedure would stop right here at another header. So everything here, no matter whether it's a mama or a child code, if we did it and we're still inside this area, it includes a biopsy of the wee here. I don't know what I can say on TikTok. So no matter what, even if we are doing a removal of a foreign body and we do a biopsy at the same time while we're there because we see something interesting, that separate procedure is included in anything of these things. Now, if for some reason your doc does do, I don't know, a repair of an incomplete circumcision, but then also goes inside the wee and doesn't use that foreskin, does something else and does a separate biopsy because they see something maybe like a herpes or some other kind of growth that they're concerned about, that they're doing in a separate evaluation for, you can bill it. You will need to attach, this is the second procedure with the 59 modifier. If it truly is a totally different thing than the circumcision. We're not talking about the foreskin. The foreskin on any circumcision automatically goes for a biopsy. Y'all know that. But if, like I said, he has herpes or some other kind of growth that looks so abnormal and it concerns the doctor, then we can do a separate biopsy with the circumcision, and we just have to make sure that our documentation is clear. So that's what separate procedure means. No matter what part of the book you're in. It could be anywhere. I could be anywhere and see the word separate procedure. Then that means everything that's in its header will include that procedure anyway. Let's see if I can find one in eyes. I'm sure there is something around here. There's one. Modification of ocular implant with placement of pegs. Blah, 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 blah. Procedure, separate procedure. That's modification of an ocular implant. So if we're reinserting an implant, of course, modification is included. If we're doing a removal of an implant, modification of that implant is already included. Those kind of things. So, kind of interesting. I hope that's helpful. Does that help? Most often you don't code it separately, but if by chance, like in that urology example I gave you, you truly did do a separate procedure where you did a biopsy on something that was not related to a circumcision, then yes, you can code it separately. You just have to make sure your documentation and your chart is valid for that. It's just a reminder that the first code in this sequence is the smallest of all the procedures, and it's usually something that is included in all the other procedures in that area, but it's just such a minor, usually, procedure that it's already included in everything else that's under the same header. That's all. Some commercial payers want XU instead of 5.9. That's totally correct. Yep, I am not a biller at all, or a coder. I do Category 2 audits in my career. I love that. I like those codes. Those are in the back of your book. We don't use them very often during the CPC exam, but every so often you do. I do where doctors are supposed to code like the systolic and the dystolic of your blood pressure. If you have a 120/80, they have a code for that. If you have your hemoglobin A1C checked and your doctor reviews it and your result was 10.0, they have a code for that. It's all back here in the back of your book. And it's used to capture clinical information that the doctors are reviewing during their exam. And it also gives the health insurance direct information about how your health is without getting a copy of your records and then having some MD look at your hemoglobin A1C and see that it is high at 10.0. They've already got it because it's a code. So they're just turning everything, medical records, making sure you got your colonoscopy. A depression screening is here to see if you've ever been screened for that, which you should. Everybody should. Even the kids, they're doing those to kids nowadays. Just everything is all back here. Advanced planning. Did you get your advanced directive filled out? That's why they're always bugging you at the doctor's office, because if they can get you to fill it out, then they can bill this code. It doesn't do anything financially for them, but like in California, where I work out of, you can go to the california.gov website and you can bring up your medical group's report card. And you can bring up any doctor's office group's report card and you can see, do they take care of patients' advanced directives? Do they take care of patients' mental health screenings? And they get reported for doing so much of their population's depression screening. If they're getting 80 and above, then great, they get 5 stars. If they only do 2% of their population, then they're getting 1 star, which is poor. And so that's what I deal with, is these codes back here. You'll have to look more into that section. Yeah, I like that section. It's not got anything to do with billing or collecting money from patients, and it's just making sure they're getting their screenings. So I like it. As an empath that I am, I don't like anything that bills. I don't think, I think we ought to be like all the other countries in the planet and provide services for our entire population instead of only the working class can get health care, but then they can't take off work to get it because they can't get off work. Anyway, I don't know. It's crazy how we do stuff here compared to other countries. And our health care is so funny because all of our ICD-10 and HIPAA codes and everything that we bill, you know where we get it from? We get it from Canada because they've already done it. They created all the coding and all that stuff. And yeah, it's so funny how everybody wants to not do universal care, but all these guidelines, everything that your health plans tell you can and cannot have, and all those measurements, like you gotta be, if you're 21 to 29, you can only have a pap smear every 3 years. Well, that was drawn up and done by Canada. And yeah, anyway, we just adopt those through CMS and AMA, and then we adopt them and make them commercial here, and we make people pay for it, even though we got it from Canada. So funny. Anyway, I have a lovely, lovely case, and I was bored with just my original stuff where I put, the answers and then the question. Sometimes I like to get creative and make it look like a kindergarten thing, but I get bored with the same thing, so I made a little thing for a case today. I have 3 cases. 2 of them are urology with diagnoses and CPT codes, and then one of them is E&M case for you guys. So hopefully this will be fun. Just looking at the diagnosis without looking at our case that's in the middle, if you were using my process of looking for similarities, and I'm sorry I can't pay attention to the screen while I'm teaching, but keep posting your stuff and tapping away. The girls that are mods here can help out and answer questions. But just looking at these diagnoses, which 2 would you keep and which 2 would you throw away? While I'm getting a drink. I worked, the first 3 years at the current place I work at right now. I've been there over 12 years now, almost, January will be 12, I think. Next to the referral department director, and she always got the difficult cases like the lung transplants and stuff. That woman reveled in denials. She loved looking up local determinations and finding clauses that could get our group out of paying for big major surgeries. She absolutely loved it. It made her day. And I still can hear her cackling. It just tears me up. She loved it. She loved her job. Absolutely loved it. I'm so glad when I got to go home and be remote. Some people love looking up that stuff, and it's like, finding, it's a puzzle, looking through those local determinations and finding ways to get patients coverage or find ways to deny. You can do either one, but she loves saving money. I don't know if it meant she got a higher bonus each year or what it did, but she was good. She was really good at saving the group money, millions of dollars. She was really good at it. I mean, if you're a company and you're for profit, she did a wonderful job. But my goodness, I couldn't handle it. We are absolutely going to keep our B and D simply because numerically they start out with the same answer. I find that a lot of, and even CS exams do this too, that they have two answers that are just giveaways and then two answers that are super close, and they want to know if you know the difference and would be able to pick those out. Just looking at the diagnosis, a lot of times the 9s are non-specific and then the 3s are better, but I'm concerned about this one because we only went out 4 digits and this one went out 5 digits. But it ends in 9, which is usually non-specific, but I don't know. It's easy just to look at the difference between D30. You don't even have to go down to the 0.3, and D49 just to see what those differences are. And then check your question to see what it is. If you're a gambling person, you can usually bet against the 9s, but I don't know. Let's go into the D's. D30. D30 is benign neoplasm of the urinary tract, right? Or urinary something or another. And then D, what was the other one? 49. She loved denying the penectomies, the ones where people lost a lot of weight and they need a belly tuck or whatever. She loved getting out of those. Neoplasms of unspecified disorder is the 49. 49.59, since it's on the same page, it does say genitalia organ, genourinary organ. What is my 530.3? Since I looked up the other one. Benign neoplasm of the bladder. Are we bladder or are we genourinary? Whatever. All right. Let's check out. We have urethra and bladder tumors. You really hope so, because that would make sense. I don't know what. I missed it. Yeah, but we've got ureter too. They did. She loved it. And some people just really revel in professional accomplishment. And it could have been just pride over doing her job really well. I don't know. Urethra and bladder tumors. Which one would you pick? This one just simply states bladder only. Ooh, I still got my earpods in. No wonder I can't. I'm talking really loud. I'm sorry. I hope I'm not screeching in your guys' ears. I don't have anything on, like no music, but I still had them in my ears. Oof. All right. And then this one has the whatever bladder. I think I would pick D just because of that. What do you guys think? I'm pretty need your live. I'm wondering if I should take a local college course or AAPC. No, Mama, you don't need to at all. All you need to do is watch my 3 pinned TikToks that are pinned, and it'll tell you how to start. Don't pay for a course. I don't think you'll be happy with it. Watch my 3 TikToks. Join my website. It'll it'll go along with that to help you out. It's just medicalcodingbyjen.com. I don't send you or capture all this information. I'm not going to spam you. But all my social medias are there. You can please join the Discord group. Download that app and join it. You'll know when I go live here. And then I have all the steps for prepping your material and getting ready for your open book exam right here. Super helpful. This is step by step. You just click on a picture and then it gives you the instructions of what I'm doing. So go there. It's all free. The Discord group is all free. And you have tons and tons and tons of rooms. I'm sorry I haven't gotten to everybody's messages yet today. I'm working on it. Tons of rooms here divided into sections of the exam that can definitely help you. We even have practice exam question rooms. Tons of help even after you pass with CEUs, job placement, you name it. We've got it here. This is where it's all free, super helpful. Oh, look at Twinkle. She's my girl. Thank you so much. I can help you pass without a course. What I'm doing here is teaching you how to look at these questions and be able to pick out the answer without reading the questions and without knowing anything about medical coding. Once you get your certification, you're going to be applying for jobs. Those jobs code differently, just like other people were saying in chat, based off payers. They're also based off of contracts they make with those payers, which are all different. All of it's ununiform, none of it's universal. Even their EHRs are all different. The way they send claims, capture claims, everything is totally different at each unique physician's office or group or hospital. So they're going to have to teach you their systems no matter what. And nothing in any course is going to teach you and how to prepare for that. You need to learn some vocabulary with it. You know, what is a claim? What is a CPT? What is an ICD-10? Those kind of things. But you can get that from YouTube. So don't buy a course. You can buy a study guide from AAPC. Don't really care what year you get, but get their official study guide from any used place. Super helpful, has all those vocabulary terms in it that you could use. And that's all you really need besides your reference material that you'll need to take with you during the exam, which is your CPT book, your HipPix, and your ICD-10 book. The rest I can teach you for free. Don't stress about anything else. Of course, it isn't going to prepare you, and it isn't going to help you pass this exam. What's going to help you is watching my lives. So, for the first answer here, do you see 2 answers we would keep? Thank you for all the taps. We got 5,000 likes already and 16 shares. Y'all are awesome. We're going to break the share record today. And 15 stockings already. Wow. Thank you, guys. Yep, we're going to keep B and C because those 2 are super close. Just looking at them as numbers. That's all I'm doing right here is looking at numbers. We got 555. We've got, let me move this. 3 of them are 2s. Thank you for the stocking. I would get rid of A because it goes to the 3. And then right here, I would get rid of that 0 because it's not like the other one. I would keep the 523s because they always do 2 codes that are super close. They just want to know if you know the differences. So right here, I would go to the 52310. What's going on with that one? 52310. What is our 1-word difference between that one? It is, we're under this one, the 10 is a scope, of course, but the scope is going through the urethra. That's important, and it's a foreign body or stent replacement. The 52332, where are you? 32. These are new questions I've never done before too, so. All right, this one's also the same sort of scope. It's also a stent. Our differences are indwelling catheter or not. Did we use a catheter or not? That's simply the only difference. Did we put in a catheter? So what's our procedure? Our procedure is a pan-cystoscope. What is a pan-cystoscope? What does that mean, guys? Anybody know? It's also a simple procedure, yes, on that 10 one. Our 32 is not. Pan means we have a wide camera on our scope. It just means we're panning around. We can turn our camera around. So technically, both of those CPT code descriptors, the 10, it says cystourethroskop, but cystoscope, and then the other one says the same thing, but it's a cystoscope. So it's still this word. It just has the urethra in the middle of it, and this just means your camera can pan around. Kind of cool. But what we need to know is, did we do a catheter or not? And we see right there we did. So you know right away that your answer is going to be B, right? And that's the only word you needed to look at. Now this case goes on for days. It's pretty long. But a lot of things you don't even have to look at and read nothing other than the beginning part of your test question on these cases to be able to answer these. Now, if we're in urology, what is the most common modifier we might use? Or do we have anything in that 3-2 to indicate whether we could use a modifier or not? If we look at our 3-2 descriptor and parentheticals, we really don't have much notation, but if you have a copy of my notes, which are on my website in the shop, you would know that this one happens to be unilateral. And my notes also say that if it's a bilateral procedure, we can use our 50 modifier. So right here, we do have the word bilateral, so probably we could use A. What would be our second code in this procedure? If we're looking over here, let's see. We've got two that are in the 2-3s also, but like somebody said before about being a separate procedure, we know and we need to be careful about coding something that is in the same area as other ones. If we look at our 52310, it was in the other answer and we skipped it because it is already a cystoscope and it's just a cystoscope without a catheter. So we know right away, looking at this, we've already looked up this code and eliminated it. Now, if we were looking at these codes to see any similarities, we wouldn't have one anymore. What is our 5200? 5200? That's the same procedure that the 10 is, because the 10 is right underneath it. They're under the same header, so we absolutely wouldn't use that one either. Our 52351, is that one underneath our 52332 that we just used? I don't know. Where's our 51? Yeah, there's no header change. If you look at our first CPT code, it was the 52332. There's no header change. And our 51, even though it's on another page and 3 columns away, it's still a cystourethroScope with a ureteroscope and a polyscope diagnostic. Did we do that here? No, we didn't. So we can get rid of that one. So whatever this 52234 is, we probably did it. Let's go look. We don't. Now, normally during the exam, don't go look. If you've eliminated D, C, and B, don't look. Just pick A and move on with your day. Do not go look. But we can look since we've got all the time in the world. Our 3-4. Is frugulation. Anybody remember what that is? That is like a laser surgery. We're going to use some heat or electricity, and we're going to burn some stuff. So if you wanted to see if we did that, probably those tumors that we got rid of, we probably burned the heck out of them. Let's see, where do they get down to the biopsies? Look, right there. There's frugate, whatever that is. It just means electricity. That's all. You know you did it. So, easy peasy. If we are using 2 CPT codes, what would be a modifier for the second CPT code? Without worrying about anything else other than you have 2. Thank you for the hot cocoa. Richie's got it. Thank you for being a TikTok subscriber too. Awesome. You guys are entered into a contest. Bunch of contests. I got a bunch of them. I'm moving you guys from the cookie jar to an online wheel thing that will automatically pick it out, so I don't have to write down everybody's name and cut it out and fold it and put it in there. I am moving y'all to a wheel, but yes, our 59 modifier is what you would use for a second one, right? Normally, that's just in general what you would use, and without using much brain power, it's probably a 59. Just thinking. Anyway, let's go see how we did. Let's see our diagnosis. This one was bladder, or this one was urobladder or something or another, was our only difference. Let me grab and get my other thingy. And we were the urobladder thing. This one over here, we picked B. B is right. Our modifier, 50, was right. So if you haven't, write down that this code is unilateral and then right beside it, it's okay to use 50 modifier with it because that's not in your descriptors. That will help you out during exam. Our 2234 is correct. That is what we did because we electrocuted those tumors. That was a separate procedure. We had to drop our scope procedure that we were doing that introduced stuff into the kidneys and bladder or whatever, which was those stents and that catheter. And then we grabbed the electrical instrument and we started shooting some electrical beams down in there to cut off those tumors. So that was a separate identifiable procedure. And when we do that, we always will add our 59 modifier to that for the CPC exam. Now, in real life, that is the most misused modifier in the world and usually one that most health plans will not use. But CPC exam loves that sucker. Thank you for sending me the likes. Hey, Mel, how's it going? Another one of my TikTok subscribers.